Hey everyone, welcome back. Bigelow Reviews here. I am Brent Bigelow, and I have a new review for you, and that is Maggie Rogers' Surrender. So this is Maggie Rogers' second studio album and her follow-up to her debut album that sent her to the stratosphere and kind of created a cult following, that being Heard It in a Past Life, which has this like industrial pop, folk aesthetic going for it. And like I said, it had a really great following. Maggie Rogers, after the release of that album, kind of had like a bit of a when hiding stage and really let that album sit with a lot of her fans. But she's back with a whole new sound, and I'm really loving this album. Compared to her debut album, that had kind of had a Bon Iver sound to it, but way less glitchy. Surrender has more of a garage rock band feel with just belting lyrics and soaring notes and just wonderful instrumentation. At least for me, comparing the last album to this one, I feel like Maggie's really leans more into her vocals and was able to sing a little harder and sing a little more passionately on this one, and like really took her own vocal cords off the leash. Like she's just belting on some of these tracks. The track That's Where I Am has her singing just absolutely effortlessly on this song. The same could be said with a bunch of other tracks in here that are just like straight power ballads. You have Horses, you have Shatter, which is like an 80s rock track. And then you even have the track Honey that kind of has like a SoCal Switchfoot vibe, if you know who Switchfoot is and didn't forget about them. But just her vocals on all these songs, production-wise, she sounds super clean and just effortless. Like she hits every note like she's been doing it for her whole life. Like she really owns her vocal ability on this album. The killer rockin' tracks in this album are easily one of my favorite ones on here, but she has some really incredible, like, slower, intimate tracks on this project as well that kind of leans back more into her debut album. Songs like I Got a Friend, which kind of has this, like, feels like you're sitting in the room listening to her record this song with, like, all your friends, and you're, like, yelling at them to stop talking so I can get a good cut. Like, it sounds like she's recording it with all her friends in the studio or just, like, chilling in her living room. Even the closer track on here, Different Kind of World, is a pretty beautiful song as well. Just the amount of just solid songs on this project is incredible. I really don't think there's a miss on this entire track list. I enjoy and love just about every single track on here. I'm floored that it even came out to be so good. Like I hinted at, this sound and style of being more like an adult alternative rock sound, you could tell that she kind of gave everybody just a little dose in the very beginning song, that being Overdrive. A set back, more reserved track, and just kind of doesn't really seem like it goes anywhere, but just gives you a little bit of the taste that you're going to get throughout the rest of the project. Like I mentioned previous, That's Where I Am has this great synth pad throughout the track. Even some of the harmonies on here are just spectacular as well. The song Want has this playful style to it and tells this story of this couple that like just freaking figure it out by now. Like come on, like if you want it, just go get it type energy. Think like Rachel and Ross from Friends. That's kind of the same story that's being told here. And then the song Anywhere With You is just an absolutely beautiful, well-constructed song, starting on the softer side, making you almost cry, and then totally switching things up and making you look silly for crying. But it's just a beautiful ballad. The lyrics are just so intimate, and you just feel everything she's saying. Talking about dealing with life and handling all the depression and sad things in life, but how important it is to have that somebody next to you to really carry you through those pains. But having that someone next to you emotionally, physically, and mentally is so key, and that's what she's talking about in this song. And just her screaming, I'll go anywhere with you, is just fantastic. On the track Horses, Maggie Rogers has kind of like a Tom Petty-like track on here, singing about horses and how free they are and all that. Kind of cliche lyrically, but still a great track. On the song, she talks about how she feels enslaved to her loneliness and just really just wants to get out there and gallop into the mountains. Then on the track Be Cool, like the track itself mentions, is more of a reserved, kind of kept back type track. And she's reminding people to, when times get rough, make sure you just kind of keep it cool and just ride the wave out sometimes. It's the only way to get through it. Like I mentioned previous with the song Shatter, it has this like 80s aesthetic to it. And the bridge on this track is just fantastic. She can't make any mistakes on here at all. And she's just saying that she could do anything to bring back the memories. It's just fantastic. Another solid just ballad on here is Begging for Rain. In the song, Maggie talks about how she's standing in a mess of fire. As a firefighter, nothing seems to help, and she's begging for relief, begging for rain to come down and help her with her problems. And then this kind of even leads into my one feeling about the song. It almost feels like this entire album has a slight religious tinge to it. Like I said, I don't know if there's much to that, but that's how it is interpreted in my brain. Regardless if you think about it as a religious track or a personal education and personal discovery type album, it's still great messaging and great storytelling and just very personable lyrics. Personally, when it comes to this album, I can see myself listening to this thing over and over again. I love it. Some sides of it, I feel like it's not as fantastic and how it doesn't completely blow my socks off, but it's still just a great album and like one of my favorites of the year so far. And Maggie Rogers in general, like I liked her last album as well, but personally I find this one to be a little bit better, even though both albums, their track lists are pretty impeccable. Like there's not really any wasted tracks on either project. This is a pretty kick-ass record for Maggie Rogers. But I'm feeling a score of 93 on this project. But what do you think? Put your scores down in the comment section below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with all your friends. And follow me on Twitter at 72brentner27. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Biggie out.